I want to go over this article from the Daily Mail real quick, but I want to do it through the eyes of non-mainstream media bias. Democrats reveal 2 articles of impeachment against Donald Trump, accusing him of abusing his office by soliciting Ukraine to interfere in the 2020 election and obstruction of Congress, with House set to vote next week. Interfere in the 2020 election. Before we go on with this article, do you want to see interference in the 2016 election? Here are the top contributors according to OpenSecrets.org from the 2016 election. Check out these piles and piles of money. The top donor for the Democrats was Tom Steyer. 91 million, not 91,000, $91 million in 2016 alone. Second top donor, Sheldon Adelson. $82 million. This went to the Republicans. Like 21 million of that went to Donald Trump himself. Donald Sussman, number 3, $41 million. Number 4, $37 million. Number 5, $27 million. Number 6, $26 million. 26, 25, 23, 23, 22. You want to see election interference? Why are all these people giving piles and piles of money to the Republican side and the Democrat side? That sure looks like election interference to me. $91 million, $82 million, $41 million? You've got to be kidding me. And they're worried about Ukraine election interference as they're giving away the extortion fee of the American people. In Joe Biden's case, to the tune of $1 billion. In Trump's case, $350 or $400 million. That's 1.3 or 1.4 billion dollars of American taxpayer money going to a foreign entity. For what? For what? It's just disgusting, guys. The money in politics, the backroom deals. This is just above board money right here. This is just the on the books money. This isn't even the so-called dark money. The money that's not traced and tracked and made public. This is just what we know about. Election interference. Give me a break. Nancy Pelosi and her Democrats charged Donald Trump with high crimes and misdemeanors on Tuesday, like she's anybody to do that, setting up a vote to impeach the president by the end of the year. Let's listen to these hypocrites.
Good morning, everyone. On this solemn day, I recall that the first order of business for members of Congress is the solemn act to take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And where's my laugh track? All right, let's start this over. Ready?
Good morning, everyone. On this solemn day, I recall that the first order of business for members of Congress is the solemn act to take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And the people said...
There's great respect and gratitude that I thank the chairs of the committees, the 6 committees who have been working to help us honor our oath of office. To help us protect and defend.
Today, in service to our duty to the Constitution and to our country, the House Committee on the Judiciary is introducing 2 articles of impeachment charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors.
Look at Maxine.
The first article is for abuse.
They're not going to let Maxine talk today. She's way far gone.
Of power. It is an impeachable offense for the president to exercise
Trish says
the powers
drunk.
of his public office
It seems like Nancy
to
Pelosi's
obtain an
drunk
improper
too.
personal benefit while ignoring or injuring the national interest. That is exactly what
So it's not injuring the national interest to give $1.3 billion to Ukraine? We couldn't bring that money home or keep that money home and help some, homeless people, veterans, people who really need help?
President Trump did when he solicited and pressured Ukraine to interfere in our 2020 presidential election.
Yeah, never mind that Biden said, yeah, you're not getting the $1 billion until you fire that guy. You got 6 hours. Well, son of a bitch, they fired him. Look at that. Okay, we'll release the $1 billion. Never mind that.
Thus damaging our national security, undermining the integrity of the next election, and violating his oath to the American people. These actions, moreover, are consistent with President Trump's previous invitations of foreign interference in our 2016 presidential election. And when he was caught, when the House investigated and opened an impeachment inquiry, President Trump engaged in unprecedented, categorical, and indiscriminate defiance of the impeachment inquiry.
Look at all these gun grabbers. They're all in the House. Look at all the gun grabbers. And they're going to virtue signal and tell us how much they care about and love the Constitution and upholding and protecting and defending it.
This gives rise to the second article of impeachment for obstruction of Congress. Here, too, we see a familiar pattern in President Trump's misconduct. A president who declares himself above accountability, above the American people, and above Congress's power of impeachment, which is meant to protect against threats to our democratic institutions, is a president who sees himself as above the law. We must be clear. No one, not even the president, is above the law.
And let's just reiterate. What is the law? What is a law, a man-made law? It's nothing more and nothing less than the opinions of politicians backed by the threat of force. It's a fiction. It's a legal fiction. Just like taxation, it's legalized theft. Like Bastiat said, the state is that great fiction by which everyone seeks to live at the expense of everyone else. Actually, every human being is above man-made law. Every human being. You don't have to do something that somebody said just because it was a politician who said it or a law enforcer who said it. If you're not harming or threatening to harm somebody else or getting in anybody's way in their free movement in life, you can do whatever you want. But that's not what these politicians say. These politicians say, no, you need to obey our commands. If you don't obey our commands, we reserve the moral right to fine you, to cage you, and even to kill you, to take your life. No one's above the law. And yet these people who claim to protect and defend the Constitution have no problems creating quote-unquote laws that take away people's right to protect themselves with whatever firearm, whatever weapon they choose to protect themselves with. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, it says. And they put pen to paper and they willingly, willy-nilly infringe.
And above Congress's
Look at
power of
Schiff here.
impeachment. Later this week, the Judiciary Committee will meet to consider these articles of impeachment and to make a recommendation to the full House of Representatives.
Let me just remind you of something. H.R. 1296 is the assault weapons ban of 2019. I did a video on this the other day. But this bill makes it a crime to knowingly import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess a semi-automatic assault weapon. It doesn't even say assault rifle. It says assault weapon. That includes almost every handgun that's made today, guys. Almost every handgun that's made today is a semi-automatic weapon that they would call a semi-automatic assault weapon or large capacity ammunition feeding device. Who signed this bill? Who signed this unconstitutional bill? A constitution that they swore to protect and defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic? Look at all these people. There's 214 Democrats that signed it and one Republican. Who's the one Republican? People were asking me that the other day. It's Peter T. King, representative from New York. And here are the Democrats. Virtually all the Democrats signed it. Every single one of them. All of them. Gun grabbers. Oh, look. Here's Adam Schiff. There's Eric Swalwell. There's Rashida Tlaib. Hey, what do you know? Maxine Waters. And Tulsi Gabbard. They're all gun grabbers. They say they're going to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, but they're just a bunch of gun grabbers, a bunch of power-tripping, tyrannical gun grabbers.
We do not take this action lightly. but we have taken an oath to defend the Constitution.
And you violated that oath time and time again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And unlike President Trump, we understand that our duty first and foremost is to protect the Constitution and to protect the interests of the American people. That is why we must take this solemn step today. Elections are the cornerstone of democracy.
It's an absolute joke. All right, I'm going to play this back. This is important.
Step today. Elections are the cornerstone of democracy and are foundational to the rule of law.
Elections are the cornerstone of our democracy. Our democracy must die, guys. Because you know what democracy is? It's, in the words of Ben Franklin, couldn't have said it any better. It's two wolves and a lamb deciding on what to have for dinner, and guess who loses? Guess who becomes the main course? It's that lamb, if he is not well armed. Democracy is a majority rule scenario. It's the 51% pushing the 49% around, telling them what they can or can't do. And if they violate the will of the 51%, then the 51% reserves for themselves the right to punish the 49%. Democracy has to die. To safeguard democracy is tantamount to safeguarding evil.
But the integrity of our next election is at risk from a president who has already sought foreign interference in the 2016 and 2020 elections and who consistently puts himself above country. That is why we must act.
What about the dual citizenship found in Congress? That's putting yourself above country. If you have dual citizenship, you have dual loyalties. If you have dual loyalties, you can't be loyal to the one without betraying the other. Ask yourselves, dual citizenship in Congress and protecting and defending the Constitution. Sounds like diametric opposition to me.
Now, I want to turn now to Chairman Schiff, who will explain the evidence that supports these articles and the need for us to act with such urgency today.
Yeah, the evidence, like Schiff had evidence last time and he couldn't bring it forward because, oh, that's right, he didn't have evidence.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and to my colleagues, good morning. The framers of the Constitution recognized that someday a president might come to office who would abuse that office, betray the public trust, and undermine national security to secure foreign help in his reelection.
Now, turn your guns in because we don't believe you should have them.
And who would seek to abrogate the power of Congress to hold him accountable. They recognized this danger and they prescribed a remedy, and that remedy is impeachment. It is an extraordinary remedy and one that I've been reluctant to recommend until the actions of President Trump gave Congress no alternative. We stand here today because the president's continuing abuse of his power has left us no choice. The evidence of the president's misconduct is overwhelming and uncontested.
Well, that's it, guys. I think Trump tweeted out witch hunt. Let me see if I can find his tweet. To impeach a president who has proven through results, including producing perhaps the strongest economy in our country's history, to have one of the most successful presidencies ever, and most importantly, who has done nothing wrong, is sheer political madness. I don't believe any of that stuff, and I don't believe Nadler. I don't believe Schiff, Maxine Waters. They're all just a bunch of power-hungry nincompoops. Here's the tweet from today, witch hunt. Anyway, leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comment section below. And I'm sure there's going to be more coming out on this. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.